Starting off today with some deadlifts. I got Larson press and I think a high incline press after that, and then Bulgarian split squats to finish off the session. But I'm going to go through a lot of those comments about the competition. I'm going to try to find some ones that I really like, maybe just talk about them and give my thoughts on some of them. But other than that, I'll go through some more comments, answer some questions. Yeah, that's the plan for the day, so let's get after it. I think I'll go up to 600 for a set of 5. All right, going through the comments here, going to find some competition ideas. 10-minute density set of front squat at 1.5 times body weight. I do like the 10-minute density set for a front squat at 1.5 times body weight. 10 minutes, you can get who can get the most reps in 10 minutes. I think that's a good idea. Triple broad jump for distance is an easy, nice comp that anyone can compete in with minimal kit equipment. Yeah, the thing with the competitions is that I want to do something that's like not traditional. I want to do something that people haven't really done before. So like, I don't really want to do like a 40 triple broad jump, a 3-rep broad jump, something like that. I don't want to do something like that. I don't want to do just like a standard Olympic weightlifting competition. It has to be like something different, original, authentic. Yeah. Chad Seeley says the obvious answer is a SOTS press competition. I can't even do a SOTS press with an empty bar, so I'm out on that one. Zercher super total, so I'm assuming that would be just a Zercher squat and a Zercher deadlift. 20 to 30 minute deadlift density set with 405. That could be pretty fun. That would make some people puke. 405 for 20 minutes. How many deadlifts do I think I could do? I've done 595 for a set of 20, so we go 405. 20 minutes, I'm probably going to be pushing close to 100 reps maybe. Okay, I gotta say, this is probably the best one I've seen. A squat run competition where the score is a mile time in seconds minus the squat in kilos. Lowest score wins. And I would say that has to be done on the same day too. Go run a mile, and then within the next hour, you got to hit your squat. You got to do a squat max. Alec Blennett says he's going to host an online Jefferson curl competition this spring called Bend It and Send It. That's awesome. I like that. All right, 600 for a set of 5 here. I got one more set of 4. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. That was pretty easy. That felt really good. Do I have a favorite variation to train for someone who gets lower back pain from conventional squats? I would try a Zercher squat. That would probably be my first go-to. Front squat too. I mean, you really just got to change the application of the load. I think that's going to be your best bet. Change the application of the load, or you could change the tempo of the movement, because if you change the tempo of the movement, that's going to inherently reduce the load. There's a lot of different ways to kind of find adjustments and modifications to train around lower back pain. I think I made a video on it like 2 years ago. Just search my name and like training with lower back pain or something, and then you can see like more elaborate thoughts on that. What about something like dumbbell snatches? This is in response to my video on alternatives to Olympic lifts. Are we saying that those are basically Olympic lifts too, or can we technically argue that it's not straight up an Olympic lift, but the next best closest thing, for example, if someone doesn't have the technique or flexibility to do a full barbell snatch? Yeah, that's where it kind of gets tricky. Like, I don't think I would consider it an Olympic lift variation. In order for an Olympic lift variation to be done, I would say you have to have a barbell. Does a kettlebell or a dumbbell snatch compare to the type of stimulus you're going to get from just a regular barbell snatch? I would say hardly at all. So no, I would say that's not a legitimate alternative to an Olympic lift. No, that would be my answer. Are you going to include velocity ranges for Haas Project 2? I've thought about that. I don't know yet. The thing is, like, you can prescribe intensity in a lot of ways. Percentage of 1RM, RPE, RIR, velocity. So I might include it. I might include like all of those types of prescriptions for intensity and just let the user pick which one they want to use. All right, last set here, set of 4 at 650. Okay, got Larson press set up. Gonna hit a set of 4 at 310 right now. Do I still feel like the Hatfield squat is the best variation for athletes? So I made that video a long time ago, before I probably had like 150 subscribers on YouTube when I made that video. The reason I said that, I think, was because it's conducive to heavy loading because it's hand supported. I think just the fact that it was hand supported, you can go heavier, and like depth is a lot easier because you can use your hands anchoring onto the bar in front of you. You can use that as a counterbalance. You can get whatever depth you want. It's really easy to sit low. So I think that is why I said that, which I would still agree with now. But as far as the best squat variation for athletes, I don't think there is a best squat variation for athletes, though. The fact that you can load it really heavy and getting depth is really easy, I think that the Hatfield squat has an advantage because of those reasons. So how would I go about working under a strength coach who is stuck in his ways and is much more old school than myself? I work at a high school where there's one other strength coach besides myself, and he still wants to train his athletes like bodybuilders. High reps, too many isolation movements. I've finally gotten him to incorporate sprinting into our programs. That's good, but there's still plenty of things that need to be done differently. He's been there a lot longer than me, and I like him, so I don't want to come off as an asshole, but sometimes it can be very frustrating incorporating training I don't agree with. You're gonna deal with that in every field, in every job you have, in every field that exists. You're gonna work for someone that you disagree with, and you're gonna have to implement their strategy regardless of what the content of the job is. So I don't really have, you know what my advice for you is, honestly, is to just not care that much. Like it's strength and conditioning. As long as whoever's programming for the kids, as long as it's not neglectful, like you're not, as long as they're still strength training every major muscle group in the body, as long as there's still some exposure to sprinting and change of direction, some exposure to aerobic conditioning, anaerobic conditioning in some form, as long as you're kind of checking off all those boxes, the details of the training probably don't matter that much. It's a really bitter pill to swallow, but it is true that your strength and conditioning program does not provide an impact in terms of winning or losing games for teams, but the strength and conditioning program, I will say, can provide a very large positive impact on individual players and their individual performances in games. So that's kind of the way I think about it. My advice to you is just like, if you want to facilitate change within that programming, I'd start posting on social media. Just post your thoughts. Don't be combative. Don't be argumentative about what you think. Just kind of give your ideas out. One, it's going to make you really think about what you're putting out and really, really scrutinize your own ideas, because other people are going to be able to scrutinize them online too. But then, I don't know who the guy is that you're working for, but I'm sure through the grapevine, if he doesn't have social media, through the grapevine, he's going to catch wind of some of those ideas, and then maybe he'll implement them, maybe he won't. And if he does implement ideas that you think are more appropriate, let him take the credit. That's my advice, you know. I'm assuming you're pretty young based on that question. You're going to get a chance to be in charge of your own team at some point. Just like, don't worry about it too much. Don't let it affect your day. It's strength and conditioning, dude. It's training. It's not that big of a deal. Never let that kind of stuff ruin your day. Never take that stuff home with you and take it out on other people if you're frustrated. Who knows? Maybe you can learn from that guy too. Because you said he still wants to incorporate bodybuilding, I think is what you said. Dude, there's a lot of principles that can be taken from bodybuilding and be incorporated into a training program for like athletic performance for sure, and athletic development. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have, I guess, very good advice, but don't let it ruin your day, man. Have I ever seen Brian McGinty of Power Plus? If so, what are your opinions of his training methodology being completely plyometric based and doing nothing slow/heavy? Yeah, I've heard of Brian McGinty. He actually used a video of me to bash band assisted jumps, and the ironic thing about it is in the video he was using of me, I was also bashing band assisted jumps. And it's funny, I messaged him after that, and he messaged me back. But no, like with everybody, he's gonna have some good takes. I think he has a lot of goofy takes too that I disagree with. But I definitely like some of the stuff that he puts out, and I would give him a follow. All right, last set here of the Larson press. I got 345 on the bar. Gonna hit a double. Would I play basketball more times a week if I had time? Absolutely. Before I was married and before I had a kid, I'd play every Wednesday night, and then I would play once on a weekend, like on a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday morning with some friends. So I would definitely play twice per week back then, sometimes 3, but you just can't do it anymore. I can't just leave the house and go play basketball if I have free time. You got to check with your wife, see what your kid's doing. I play every Wednesday. I just play once a week now on Wednesday nights, and then maybe if I'm able to, I'll go play like on a Sunday morning or something. But yeah, if I had more time to play basketball, I definitely would. What are my thoughts on drop catch training for athleticism? I think drop catch training is fine. I don't know if I talked about this. I think I talked about this where Hunter, the guy from Arizona State, where I made that response to the drop catch video that he put out, like the split squat drop catch. And somebody pointed this out to me that every time you do a hang clean, you rack the bar because you catch the bar in a front rack, and then you have to drop it back to the hang position. You're getting a drop catch stimulus right there. Plus, you're getting the reps of the clean. So, I mean, drop catches are fine. I just think they're kind of like an inadequate stimulus compared to Olympic lifts and a lot of other things you could do that I think are more appropriate for limited time of training. Any pride on staying natty? No, not at all. I don't care about it. I think people who complain about other people who use performance-enhancing drugs, they sound like little bitches, honestly. They really sound like they're just complaining, and I just don't care. I don't care if someone uses performance-enhancing drugs. I don't care if someone's on test. I don't care if someone's on growth hormone. I don't care if someone's on tren. I don't even like realize it. I don't even know who is and who isn't on it. Like Zach Tellender made that video. He's made several videos recently about how like it's such a problem, and the increase in use of steroids and anabolic agents in just lifting community is terrible, and people don't understand the consequences of it, which I think is completely false. If you Google search or YouTube search testosterone supplementation for bodybuilding or growth hormone supplementation or tren or whatever, if you Google search it or YouTube search it, the vast majority of the search results are going to be about the risks and the consequences, the health consequences, the health side effects, more so than like the performance enhancing effects from it. So everyone knows the risks. I just don't really care about it. It's really not a big deal to me. Like the way I see it is the people who are natty, that's good for you. Good for you. I'm natural. Like good for you. I think that's great. But if you're going to complain about other people, and you don't even have proof that they're using drugs, you just come off like so jealous and so envious. It's like you don't like the recognition that someone gets, and you want that recognition, so you're gonna play this like blame game and delegitimize their popularity or their success on the drugs and act as though you're like more morally superior. You're this high almighty figure that doesn't use it, and that's why you're more morally superior than someone else. It's just kind of a joke to me. How do you breathe during a Jefferson curl? I really haven't thought about it. Now that you're going to make me think about it, what I think I do is I think I try to breathe throughout the rep. Breathe in, start to curl down, breathe out. Get to the bottom, breathe in, curl back up, breathe out. That's probably what I do now that I think about it. You're trying to move every individual vertebrae when you do a Jefferson curl. At least that's what I try to do. And it'd be kind of hard to do like the Valsalva maneuver that way. Is there anything on the Haas project that I really don't like / agree with now? Yeah, there's a few things. There's a few things that I'm not really a huge fan of. So when I wrote the ebook, it was based off of like the hypertrophy research kind of concepts at the time, which would be like drop sets, which I didn't include drop sets, super maximal eccentrics, which I didn't include any of that. Back then, I would have considered myself evidence-based a little bit more than I do now. So I looked into the research, a lot of these like hypertrophy concepts. And so rest pause sets, I know I put in there. I think I must have found some like decent evidence, compelling evidence that supports the use of rest pause sets for hypertrophy. But I don't really like rest pause sets anymore because I think it's just really hard to find an appropriate weight to use for a rest pause set. Because if you're going to do like a rest pause set, if you don't know, is you do a set and then you take a really short break, like 15 to 30 seconds, and then you do another smaller set. So it'd be like you do a set of 8, rest 15 to 30 seconds, and then you bang out another 3 reps. So that would be a rest pause set of 8 plus 3. So I have that kind of stuff in the Haas project. The thing about it, it's hard to find a weight that you can actually do for something like a set of 8, and it's a real stimulative set that's hard and makes you work, and then you have to rest only like 15 to 30 seconds and then still be able to perform that mini set. I just think it's hard. Practically, I don't really like it very much. What else do I put in there? Put some sub-maximal eccentric work in there, which I do like, but I don't know if I'd put that in there anymore. I see a follow-up question here. Is same question for Launch 1.0. Yeah, Launch 1.0 sucks. That's why I don't sell it anymore. There's a lot of concepts in Launch 1.0 that I don't like. I don't like French contrast. I briefly mentioned how I don't like band assisted jumps just a minute ago. Those are in there. There's a lot of things that I don't like, the overcoming isometrics, and I had those in Launch 1.0. There's a lot of things in Launch 1.0 that I would look at and I would just think that is not an effective way to train. So yeah, Launch 1.0, not a fan of. And it wasn't an ebook, so like all it was a program, and I don't want to just deliver a program. The thing that I think makes products valuable is the information that the products provide and not the program. So like Haas Olympic, it's like a 20-some page ebook where I talk about different concepts, different ways to apply the Olympic lifts in an athletic development plan. I provide information in the ebook, and then you can choose to run the program or not, but you can take the concepts in the ebook and put them into your own programming. So like the Launch 1.0 was just a program, so I didn't really like that part of it. For triceps workout, do you need an easy bar or dumbbells, which get the job done equally? I think an easy bar is way more comfortable. I think an easy bar is way better than dumbbells for like lying triceps extensions and French press, things like that. So I got an easy bar. I don't use it a ton except for tricep work and a very, very occasional some bicep work, but I don't really do a lot of arm isolation stuff. But yeah, easy bar is way better than dumbbells. Easy bar is way better than a barbell for like a lying triceps extension or a skull crusher or something like that. I'm wondering if you would train every position in football the same, or would you alter your program slightly for a given position on the field? Weight room wise, it would pretty much all be the same. I really don't see a very compelling argument for why different positions should lift differently, because the purpose of lifting is to get stronger. The purpose of lifting is to build tissue. The best way to do that is with exercises that train large amounts of muscle mass, that are conducive to heavy loading, and you move through greatest effective range of motion, the old Mark Ripito quote. And I think everyone's going to benefit from the same type of strength training. So on the field work, though, I can see the argument for slightly different conditioning, though I would still keep it definitely 90% the same. It's hard for me to really say what I would do if I was in that position, because I've never really been in that position before. But in terms of like a theoretical argument, I can easily make the argument that everyone should do the same thing, and I could easily empathize with an argument that would say some positions should train slightly different in some contexts. So, but generally speaking, all the same. The biggest thing that I would change would be plyometrics. So like offensive linemen, they're not going to be able to respond to plyometrics as well as someone like a skill position would. So plyometrics would likely be different. Sprinting would likely be different just in terms of distances sprinted, but everyone's going to sprint. Everyone's going to do max velocity sprinting. Everyone's going to do accelerations. Everyone's going to jump. Everyone's going to do plyometrics. It's just that the bigger guys are going to do lower total workload on plyometrics and lower total distances of sprinting. But weight room wise, it's all going to be the same. And I'm done. Thanks for watching, guys.